Failure is only a stepping stone, words that echo in the hearts of those who dare to dream, who strive beyond the boundaries of what seems possible. In every journey, in every pursuit worth undertaking, failure is not the end. It is the beginning of wisdom, the seed of resilience, and the fuel for relentless ambition. Let us delve into the story of someone who learned this truth, not through triumphs alone, but through the humbling lessons of defeat. Imagine a young boy named Ethan who grew up in a humble town, his eyes alight with the fire of possibility. From a young age, he was captivated by the world of invention, obsessed with the idea of creating something that would make life better for those around him. His room was cluttered with scraps of metal, wires, and half-finished contraptions, a testament to his restless mind and boundless curiosity. Yet what was most remarkable about Ethan was not his intelligence, but his persistence in the face of failure. Ethan's first invention was a simple toy boat, crafted from old soda cans and bits of string. He spent weeks perfecting its design, only to watch it sink moments after setting it afloat in the nearby pond. Disheartened, he trudged home, his dreams dented but not destroyed. That night, his father found him in tears, clutching the soggy remains of his creation. Instead of soothing words, his father offered a simple truth. "Son, failure is only a stepping stone. Each mistake is a lesson, each setback a chance to grow." Inspired by his father's wisdom, Ethan set to work again. He drew diagrams, studied the principles of buoyancy, and experimented with new materials. His second attempt fared better, but once again the boat capsized in the wind. The pattern repeated itself: idea, effort, failure, and reflection. Friends and neighbors began to whisper that Ethan was chasing impossible dreams. At times their doubts weighed heavy on his spirit, but he refused to let them define him. As months turned into years, Ethan's projects grew in complexity. He built model airplanes that soared for seconds before crashing, windmills that spun briefly before breaking, and gadgets that fizzled instead of functioning. Each time, he made notes, identified flaws, and tried again. With each failure, his knowledge deepened, his skills sharpened, and his resolve grew stronger. One summer, the town announced a science fair, inviting young inventors to showcase their creations. Ethan saw an opportunity, not just to prove himself, but to apply all he had learned from his failures. He decided to build a solar-powered water purifier, inspired by the need for clean water in his community. The project was ambitious, requiring him to master new concepts and overcome technical challenges. The weeks leading up to the fair were marked by setbacks. His initial design leaked, the solar panels failed to generate enough power, and the filter clogged repeatedly. Each failure stung like the first, but Ethan remembered his father's words. He dissected every problem, researched solutions, and sought advice from teachers. Slowly, his invention took shape, a device that harnessed the sun's energy to purify water, simple yet effective. On the day of the fair, Ethan stood nervously beside his creation. He watched as judges examined the entries, listened to the stories of other inventors, and braced himself for scrutiny. When his turn came, he demonstrated the purifier, explaining its function and recounting the journey of trial and error that led to its completion. The judges asked questions, probed for weaknesses, and finally nodded in approval. Ethan didn't win first place. Another entry, a robotic arm, claimed the top prize, but what Ethan gained was far more valuable than any trophy. The judges praised his perseverance, his ability to learn from setbacks, and his commitment to solving real problems. He was invited to present his invention at a regional expo, where scientists and engineers offered guidance to refine his design. Years passed, and Ethan's journey continued, marked by new challenges and, inevitably, more failures. He pursued studies in engineering, faced rejection from internships, and struggled through difficult projects. But with each stumble, he remembered the lesson that had shaped him. Failure is only a stepping stone. It is not a wall, but a bridge, leading those who dare to cross toward greater heights. Ethan's story is not unique. Throughout history, the greatest innovators, thinkers, and leaders have contended with failure. Thomas Edison endured thousands of unsuccessful experiments before inventing the light bulb. J.K. Rowling faced multiple rejections before the world discovered Harry Potter. Even the most celebrated athletes, artists, and entrepreneurs have tasted defeat, only to rise stronger and more determined. Why then do so many fear failure? It is because failure wounds our pride, challenges our self-image, and tempts us to abandon our dreams. But to fear failure is to deny ourselves the opportunity to grow. Each setback teaches us something invaluable about our craft, our character, and our capacity for resilience. The path to success is rarely straight. It twists and turns, marked by obstacles and unforeseen detours. Those who reach their goals are not always the most talented, but those who refuse to let failure define them. They see each stumble as a lesson, each disappointment as a chance to refine their vision. They persist when others quit, driven by a belief that every failure brings them one step closer to victory. So whether you are chasing a personal ambition, striving to build a business, or seeking to master a new skill, remember Ethan's journey. Embrace failure as a teacher, not an enemy. Welcome setbacks as opportunities to learn, adapt, and grow. Surround yourself with those who encourage you to persevere and never let doubt overshadow your potential. If you fall, rise. If you falter, try again. If you fail, remember, you are not alone. Every champion, every innovator, every trailblazer has walked the road of defeat. They have stumbled, struggled, and suffered, but they have also learned, improved, and ultimately triumphed. Their stories remind us that failure is not a mark of inadequacy, but a badge of courage, a testament to our willingness to risk, to hope, and to strive. Let failure be your stepping stone. Use it to build a foundation of strength, wisdom, and perseverance. Push forward, armed with the knowledge that each mistake is not the end, but the beginning of something greater. Your journey may be long, and the road may be hard, but with every step, you are moving closer to your dreams. Because in the grand tapestry of achievement, it is not the absence of failure that defines greatness. It is the refusal to give up. So dare to dream, dare to fail, and most importantly, dare to rise again. The world awaits your story, and the next chapter begins now.